This Sportz Blitz podcast is brought to you by LMG. Grow your business through logo design, paper products, and video production. Visit leemarketing.net to learn more.
Segment that Nick Saban did. I know a lot of Auburn fans didn't watch it. I'm telling you right now, it was great. It was fantastic. I also thought it was genius that they put it at the end of 60 Minutes, and that way some Alabama fans could be educated on some things other than football throughout the year. Also, Nick Saban had the quote of the decade to me. He said, mediocre people don't like exceptional people, and exceptional people don't like mediocre people. I find that to be completely erroneous because I love him, and I know he's exceptional, and I am the definition of mediocre. A couple of things about this game coming up. LSU, weirdly, has dominated in the state of Alabama, just like Alabama, and maybe not just like, but close to the way Alabama has dominated LSU in Baton Rouge. Alabama is 4-11 in games in the state of Alabama since 1982. That's a crazy statistic. Of course, some of the games were played in Birmingham way back when. Les Miles is 5-0 when teams are attempting to win their third straight game against him. So, and Alabama is obviously going for their third straight win against LSU. But in previous games, Les Miles 5-0 in that situation. A couple of notes on recruiting. Alabama got a commitment from Josh Kasher last week. That was a very weird situation. I did not think he was going to be committing to Alabama. Frankly, I didn't think he had an offer from Alabama. But I think some things are going to play out. This will all make sense a little bit later on. Alabama may have a decommitment on the offensive line side, maybe from somebody who's further away, just like I was talking about earlier with in-state recruiting. Sometimes mama wants you to stay home, and I think that may be a situation that has earned Josh Kasher the scholarship to Alabama. Deshaun Hand will be committing next week, apparently. He is deciding between Alabama, Michigan. There's some other players in there. I know he's visiting Florida this weekend. I believe he will commit to Michigan, but I got to say, Michigan's performance, negative 48 rushing yards, looking totally disoriented, both offensively and defensively against Michigan State this past weekend, had to help Alabama. Another visitor this weekend will be Juju Smith. He is one of the top defensive backs in the country, a five-star kid out of California. He'll be coming to Alabama for the LSU game. There is a laundry list of kids coming this weekend, but another one named Raquan McMillan, a linebacker out of Georgia. He's this year's Reuben Foster. He just comes with an attitude. He's a fabulous player, five-star kid. It's going to be down to Alabama and Ohio State for him, I believe. That's going to do it for the Bradbury Medical Center Alabama Blitz. Thanks so much.
And we'll see. I've got about 3 more minutes, so we'll talk a little bit about the
game. I thought we were going to break.
We'll take your phone calls.
Didn't know how to end that one.
800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. I know we had 2 holding right there, so again, we'll take those phone calls.
Listen to who Tennessee's playing. We were talking about Kessling, and he sounded rather depressed. But think about it. They have to win 2 of their last 3 to even be bowl eligible. And their last 3 games are at home against Auburn, at home against Vandy, and at Kentucky. So my bet is they lose this weekend, and they've got to win out against Vandy and Kentucky. In previous years, you think not such a big deal. When you've got a true freshman quarterback who didn't show much of a propensity to pass the ball against Missouri last week in his first start, you can't feel really good about that. Kentucky's going to sell out. You know, that's going to make Kentucky's year. Their season will be made if they have a chance to keep Tennessee from going bowling. And Vandy has turned it on a little bit. I mean, they've gotten better as the year has gone on. They got a big win against Georgia. Right now they're sitting at 4-4. They've got a game at Florida. They got Kentucky at home at Tennessee and Wake Forest. They could have another 7-8 win year, including a bowl game.
You know, they got a freshman quarterback there that, I've watched 2 weeks now, and Luke, I am not impressed with Joshua Dobbs. Now, I've heard he's some kind of, I'm not going to say he's a Rhodes Scholar, but his coach says that he's got a photographic memory. They won't have to
Good, so he can remember every interception that he throws.
But he just doesn't look the part to me. I see Jeremy Johnson as a true freshman come into the ball game, and he looks the part. I look at Dobbs, and he looks like what he is, a young 18, 19-year-old kid thrown into the mix. No, he doesn't look like Peyton Manning when he was thrown into the mix. And I think that also tells you how far they may be behind recruiting as well with some of the top dogs here in the SEC.
I totally agree. And a couple of notes about that, though. Jeremy Johnson came into this season knowing he's going to play.
Yeah.
So that probably changes his whole mindset. They had no idea, didn't dream Dobbs would be playing until the Alabama game, until their quarterback got hurt. And they were like, we don't have a choice. You got to get in there. And so he goes in against the number 1 team in the country. And, he doesn't look great. He does lead them on a touchdown drive, I guess, but by that time the game was already over. And then in his first start, he goes to a Missouri crowd that they feel great about themselves right now. They have the inside track to win the SEC East, and they blow Tennessee out of the water. He gets so little help right now.
Call in, give us your prediction on Alabama and LSU passing yards for A.J. McCarron will be the tiebreaker. We got one more segment here on the program. We'll come back. We'll get Luke's thoughts on the big game. What does he think is going to be the keys to the ball game? And again, you can call in and give us your prediction. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire right after this.